Well, hi, everybody. Welcome into Unanchored Boston with Bob Lobel. I am Mike Lynch, and as always, we are brought to you by Cold Springs RV, your destination for all things camping, and by the Big Wheel, George Gray, we call him. He's at George Gray's Lexington Toyota, 409 Mass Ave in Lexington. Well, we're thrilled to have a guy who's the perfect guest to have this week. Don Bosco, Boston College, Dallas Cowboys, New York Football Giants, New England Patriots. Now trying to get on the Champions Tour of golf. I think that's going to be his next. So Bob Lobel, you always handle the formal introductions. Let folks know all about Steve DeOssie, and let's get right to it.
I got to assume everybody knows about Steve DeOssie. He made his career as a long snapper. He was the best long snapper we ever had in the studio on Sports Final.
Right.
It's the best Sports Final show we ever did with him and Zolak and Vinatieri. But having said that, what's that, Stevie?
Needed a better holder.
I was just better. Someone should have been a better holder, but Zolak, Vinatieri kicked the ball into the lights and almost killed DeOssie.
Oh, it was great. It was great. Imagine that. You had a Hall of Fame kicker doing a kick in your studio at a late night show. It was awesome. That was just, when you look back on it, it's just one of those things like, did that really happen? That was the best. I mean, and
well, everybody, Shaughnessy even says, I know you had, some terrific shows, but that was the best. Yes. And it was right after the tuck rule games, right after the snow game. Yep. I mean, you could never do that again. You could never bring a guy like, remember I said there's one rule, Adam, and actually we have three rules. Don't get hurt, don't get hurt, don't get hurt. It was unbelievable. Well, anyway, we're not going to talk about that. I wanted to ask you this, Steve. Before the introductions, Lynchy, I wanted to tell him, have you ever spit on anybody on the field?
No, never even thought of doing it. It never crossed my mind. It never was something that I would even imagine anyone on the field would do at any level. Forget the highest of all levels. And you're talking about a great player that did it too. I mean, it makes no sense whatsoever. You're doing nothing, and you're not helping your team, and you're actually hurting your team. And it's just a gross look on a career. It's not going to stick with him. He's a great player. We're talking about Philadelphia now. But it's one of those things like I don't understand. What do you think you do? You're like a dog peeing on a corner that marks his ground. What are you doing? It's just, I don't get it. It makes no sense whatsoever. I've been angry and I've taken swings at guys, but spitting is kind of just, I don't know. It wasn't one of those things.
Well, it's like Marchand licking a guy's face.
Yeah, no, that's even worse. Yeah. That's even worse. Not worse. Maybe not worse. How about weirder? How's that sound?
Okay. All right, Lindsay, you're off to a great start. So let's jump right in.
All right. Behind Bob's head, Steve, you've seen it in the studio before, is the panic button. Yep. All right. If you're a Patriots fan, would you be we are all Patriot fans, obviously. We're all from here. But would you be reaching for that panic button right now after week number one?
Well, there's you're talking about two different groups of fans. If you got the fans that want an immediate return to the glory days of the New England Patriots with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, go ahead and hit that panic button because you're not getting there. The fact is, this is a rebuilding situation. This is Mike Vrabel's first year with the team. He's proven himself well enough in his previous coaching episodes that he can do good things with teams. Are you ever going to accomplish what the Patriots did back in the day? Absolutely not. It wasn't seen before then, and I don't think it'll be seen after that for a very long time until they change the rules again for the NFL. But if you're someone who understands the rebuilding, then there's no panic button to be pressed. You won't even have a reason to press it all season. If you find a way to get 7 or 8 wins here, I would take that, look at it, and say, okay, this is something to move forward with. This is something to go for. You don't flip a switch on a poor NFL team like you had last year, and all of a sudden think because of a change here, a change there, that it's gonna make that huge a difference. Make it I don't know, 5-6 games difference, maybe 6 wins difference, maybe. But no, I wouldn't think of at all pressing the panic button. But to your point, there's a lot of people out there that absolutely will press that button without even blinking. They'll jump right over Bob's shoulder and dive. I've already heard it already. So
well, wait a minute. What if they lose to Miami on Sunday? Now is that a panic button?
Yeah, listen, and the more you lose, the more people you'll be on.
I know, but it's to Miami. Miami's like.
Listen, you're gonna need a red velvet rope and a bouncer to get people. You'll have a line of people waiting to hit that panic button. I get it, and the more games you lose, the more people will go on there. But I'm not even worried. I don't care. That all I want to see this season is improvement on last year. Give me a 3 to 4, maybe 5 game improvement in wins, and I'm thinking the team's in the right direction. Again, very, very rarely do you ever turn a team around in 1 year, and especially as poor as the Patriots were last year and the personnel that they had. They absolutely are not going to turn things around immediately. I'm looking forward to see the grind. I'm looking forward to see who's not going to give up. I'm looking forward to see the guys that you might not expect have an opportunity and find a way to help the team out. I think there's a lot to look for right now. But if you're looking for a return to the Super Bowl, you're crazy.
Okay. Go ahead, Lynchy. I have a great question.
Well, I forgot what I was going to say. So,
okay,
Bob,
but I got to think
remember,
about it.
right?
No, let me come up with this. All right, Steve. Yep. Considering what you said, let's go to the quarterbacks. Okay, let's just say they drafted Drake May, number 3, 3rd pick.
Yep.
J.J. McCarthy was the 10th pick, Minnesota. Now here's a quarterback from Michigan. I'm making a case for J.J. McCarthy and why they should have taken him over Drake May. And then you're going to say it's second guessing. I know, that's the thing. J.J. McCarthy played for Michigan. He beat Ohio State in Ohio State, won a national championship. And Drake May probably won a game against North Carolina State and maybe Richmond and whoever North Carolina plays. I'm just saying that I think they blew it in drafting Drake May over J.J. McCarthy. And you're going to say, well, based on what? 1/2 of a football game? Okay, go ahead. Say it. I know you're thinking it.
I'm not going to say it. I'm just hoping you don't throw your shoulder out when you reach over and try to hit that panic button. All right? I'm not. Of course, you're basing it on. J.J. McCarthy was out most of last year. Right? He was out the whole year last year, was he? I mean,
what did Drake May have? Drake May, was he, for all intents and purposes, he was out the whole first year.
Yeah, and he was surrounded by a terrible offensive line, surrounded by a less than average receiving core, in a situation where it was a no-win scenario in those games. And the best thing you could get out of any games that he played in would be some experience towards becoming a better NFL quarterback. Yes, it's too early, but it's fun. It's fun to talk about, especially when you look at draft classes.
And what's wrong with quarterbacks from Michigan? Come on, have they had a bad luck with quarterbacks from Michigan?
Not first rounders. I mean, first you don't want first rounders.
No. Yeah. We got to wait to the 6th round to take quarterbacks from Michigan.
Yeah, you could have taken the backup quarterback from Michigan at the 6th round. No, it's just one of those things. I get it, and it's and quarterback is the best position to second guess or to speculate on. You can very easily take any numbers you want. You can all the stats they have out there now. You could make numbers dance, and all of a sudden Drake May would look like the second coming of Dan Marino or whatever. But I love looking at quarterback drafts because they want to act like it's a science. It is not a science. You do not know how a young guy is going to react when he gets into a job where there's grown men who want to take your head off. There's grown men that are covering those great receivers you had in college. There's linebackers that can cover receivers going over the middle. There's all sorts of things that you didn't have to deal with in college, which is why I love watching a young quarterback find his way in the league. And I think McCarthy made a nice step, and I'd like to see May make a bigger step himself.
I've heard Ernie say this about other positions, and I saw him on Julian Edelman's podcast the other day. He said, "All right, with this quarterback, Drake May, the first year you want to see potential. The second year you want to see improvement, and the third year you want to see he's able to compete with everybody now, with the big guys, and go and play in a conference championship game and win." Is he tracking any of those three things that Ernie's looking for?
He didn't look incompetent last year. I mean, it wasn't he had moments, but again, I think you're absolutely right, and Ernie was telling you the truth. It's hard to tell. We've seen any number of quarterbacks come in and have a banner first season, and then something happens. We've seen other guys come in and not even see the playing field for 2 or 3 years, and all of a sudden they turn into very good quarterbacks. So there's no there. If anybody's telling you it's an exact science, that is absolutely untrue. You can find aberrations in the laws that they're talking about with the evolution of a quarterback. But if you want to talk about something that is probably more proven than others, it's exactly what he was talking about. Give a guy some experience, because I don't care if you came from the Alabama or Michigan or Ohio State or Georgia. The game is faster in the NFL. It is absolutely faster. And if you can't adjust to the speed of that game, and you can't make that decision a split second quicker than you did in college, it's not gonna help you. So I agree with you that I agree with what he was saying in terms of show me that you're a competitive quarterback in the NFL by your third year, a very competitive quarterback, bringing your team towards the playoffs, and then I'll say, okay, that was a good draft pick.
Did Parcells ever tell you why he left the Patriots? And secretly, did he ever call you, ever have conversations about why he left the Patriots after that Super Bowl against Green Bay?
Nothing direct. References to wanting to be the GM also, and to wanting to have a larger say in the draft. But he also made those public statements. So he can be closed mouth, not just to the media. He can also do it to his friends and former players too. So, but there were some inferences there that it was that he just wanted to be a bigger part in the draft. He wanted the players that he wanted. He liked to surround himself with guys that love to get better and love to study and would do whatever that winning the ball game was the most important thing to themselves. They obviously, if I could start for Bill Parcells on a Super Bowl championship team, he's obviously not worried about speed at my position. He wasn't worried about athleticism. He was worried about all he wanted was a guy who was going to do a thankless job, and it hurt quite a bit, but he found a spot for me because I was willing to do the dirty work. I don't care. You tell me I can start, and all I get to do is smash that guard for 60 minutes. That's fine. I'm on the field. I don't care. I'll do that. I think Bill Parcells wanted to build that team in the way he wanted to do it. I'm not using my unathletic incidences to prove that point. I'm just saying that he wanted to build that team in a way that he brought people together that worked, and similar to what Belichick's approach was too. You look at Belichick's success here in New England. You're not talking about a team full of Hall of Famers. You got Tom Brady. You got Seymour for three, for 3 of the Super Bowls. You've got Ty Law. But I mean, I could, off the top of my head, I could name 8 or 9 Hall of Famers from the Pittsburgh Steelers that won 4 out of 6 Super Bowls. But that was when there was no free agency. They couldn't go anywhere. That team was built by Bill Belichick and by his people that he relied on in the scouting department for guys that would want to work really hard, guys that weren't afraid of studying, guys that would take care of do the little things that mattered when it comes to winning games. There's so many things that I learned when I got to the Giants that were key to winning ball games. And and I'm not just taking away from the idea of being extremely physical, because that's exactly what the Giants were when we got there, and exactly the way the Patriots played under Belichick too. But I think Bill Parcells was probably wanted more leeway to make personnel moves.
It's like shop for the groceries. He wants me to cook the dinner, shop for the groceries.
Which brings us to this, Steve DeOssie. All right, so he could shop for the groceries with the Giants. Where were you in the grocery bag? Were you like a potato? Were you a carrot? Were you dessert? What were you?
Listen, there was when Bill Parcells got in the Hall of Fame, they put a charity dinner on for him. It was like 1,100, 1,200 people, and raised money for Bill Parcells charity. And he had 10 guys up on the dais with him, and we were all supposed to roast him. I was just honored to be one of the 10 guys that Parcells picked. And then with all 10 guys get on, everybody's taking shots at him and good jokes with everything. And then he gets up there and he says, and he's going down the line, he's hammering everybody, and I'm at the end of the line, like just trying not to be noticed. He says, little known fact, you see beach ball down there? Beach ball, best trade in the history of the New York Giants. And I'm like, oh, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, great. Actually, he goes, yeah, a blocking dummy and a 6-pack of ginger ale. A linebacker. I'm like, it's just he loved the idea of getting guys that would do things that they needed. Now, if Harry Carson was still there, he just retired, I never would have been out on the field, but I was able to win the starting job because of that. And Parcells is just that guy. I mean, even to this day, I'll tell you how, you guys know,
Sure.
To this day, I talk to him a couple times a year. Every time I call him for like the last 10 years, he was giggling just every time he answers the phone, he's like giggling. Finally, I was like, after about 9 years, I was like, Coach, what the hell? Why do you giggle every single time I call you? Every single time you answer the phone, you're giggling. What's going on? He goes, your caller ID says beach ball. God damn it, you're a 79-year-old man. All right? You're acting like a kid. Like, oh, great. Yeah. Just on my
all right. So tell me about the unraveling of Belichick here. What the hell's going on between the Patriots and Belichick and this whole drama at North Carolina, where he looked woefully unprepared, and he was on to Charlotte, and they win a game in Charlotte. Now he's on to Richmond in their schedule, and then he bans Patriot scouts. What the hell's going on?
Was it just the New England Patriots, or was it some other?
It was just the Patriots.
That's because I'd heard different reports, but
all I know, every report I had, it was just the Patriots.
Yes, I've heard some of that too, but I've heard a little bit. But I there's bad feelings there, but it's the wrong thing to do simply because you've got players that might have hopes for playing in the NFL, and if one team doesn't get to look at you, that's not a fair scenario. That's not a fair scenario. I don't doubt that they'll have pro days after the season when the Patriots will be allowed to be part of that stuff. But in terms of scouts, it just doesn't seem.
Isn't it petty? Isn't it just really petty?
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know if it's the relationship with the Kraft family. I don't know if it's just something that he's trying to give him a kick in the butt on the way out the door. I have no idea what it is. It's just a weird thing, and it's I don't know whose interest it serves. And you'd have to find out. You'd have to find out the reasoning. You'd have to find out the rationality that Bill Belichick has for it, and who knows what he could be thinking. But the fact is, you're not doing your players you're doing your players a disservice, and that shouldn't be something that you're focusing on during the season.
I have a guy that I play golf with about 50 times a year up at Indian Ridge in Andover, and he always had a great line: when you can't figure something out, draw a straight line to the girlfriend, wife, partner, spouse, etc., and you'll find the answer. And that may be true here.
Yeah, but I mean,
Did you see it the other night when they beat who they beat, Coastal Carolina or UNC?
Charlotte, North Carolina, Charlotte.
Yes, I know, powerhouse, Cedric Maxwell. They had an overhead camera mounted on the ceiling, and she's holding open the locker room door and patting everybody on the butt as they're coming by and going in the locker room. How does he allow any of this to happen? He would never let this happen. Hold on. My wife just came in, and the guys are here with the leaf blowers.
I thought your barber was there to get a little trim.
Same guy.
Yeah,
different day. Same guy, different day.
Yeah, the whole thing is just it's just curious. It's just and there's no real explanations for it. Before all that, you could understand, you could make a case for going to a college game, thinking that okay, you've done everything you can possibly do in the NFL. You're the best head coach in the history of the NFL, and you do. The next challenge is for college, and maybe you can do that in college. But to bring that baggage with you, it's just strange. I don't know, and I don't know what.
That's all right. Lynch, you should play this clip that they had from the first Super Bowl win in New Orleans when DeOssie and I talked to. Well, you deal with the leaf blower when we play this clip. So it'll give you a minute or two to deal with them. Either take over for him or so you deal with the leaf blower. And this clip, Belichick looks so young in this clip, but he's still as snarky as he always was. You'll see. He was very dismissive to me because I didn't think I knew anything. I wasn't a football player, but to you, he was warmed up greatly, Steve. So go ahead, Lynch. You take care of the Leaf guy, and
he wasn't dismissive of you. He just hadn't decided if he could trust you or not at some point.
Okay, well, that's fine. We'll play this, and then we'll play number one, the one the Belichick cut, and it was after the Super Bowl win in New Orleans and the Rams. Okay, go ahead, play it.
Now, when you were introduced at the beginning of the game, I'll let you talk to the other football guy here, who probably would eat his heart out to be part of this team.
Well, he was on one.
Yeah, I know.
He was on one. Good one, too.
Yep. Now the second greatest game ever played in the Super Bowl.
Talk a little bit about the decision before the game to have the team introduced as a team and not – it just kind of made a statement right then and there.
Well, we've been doing it all year. It's really no big deal. That's the way we've been doing it all season.
Say, we've been doing it all year.
Oh, we have.
Yeah, it's true. Coach, what was the word around the bench at the time when St. Louis scored to tie it? Was the first thought by everybody they left too much time on the board?
Well, I don't know. We wanted to go into our 2-minute offense, Steve, and then had that not gone well, had we not gained any yardage or got sacked or whatever, then we would have just run out the clock and played in overtime because St. Louis didn't have any timeouts left, and we felt like we were in control of the situation. Once we got the ball at the field a little bit, once we got the ball to our 40, we felt like we needed 20 more yards to get in field goal range. Then when we got it to the 40, then we could have taken a shot at the field goal there, been a 57, 58-yarder without him, which would be a lot to ask. But, if anybody could do it, he probably could. But, we had about 20-some seconds left. Tom hit Wiggins. We spiked the ball, had plenty of time. It was well-executed play to be able to get up there to the line and still have 7 seconds on the clock. And, Adam's been a really clutch guy for us all year. He's made 3 overtime field goals and one at the end of the year here. So, end of the game here. So, he's about a quarter of our wins have come on his big toe.
Just an incredible team effort. Not only players, but coaches, trainers, doctors, equipment guys. I know how it goes when it's a team effort like that. It must be awfully sweet.
It was. Everybody chipped in. They all did a great job, and it just goes to everybody. You can't give too much credit to anybody because so many people contributed and so many of them were unselfish. It was just a tremendous team victory.
Thanks, Coach. Congratulations.
Thank you. He had 2 off time tomorrow, right?
My takeaway from that is that DeOssie should have been the sports anchor in Channel 4, replacing Bob Lobel, because those was pretty good, hard-hitting questions right there, Lobie.
Well, my takeaway was that Mike Dowling couldn't get on TV enough.
I'll tell you.
Mike Dowling walks back and forth 3 times just to make sure he could get on. Go ahead, Steven.
Two things that absolutely made me think that how long ago that was. First off, the head coach of the winning Super Bowl team with a big, huge upset actually stops to talk to the local guys.
Yeah.
They might do that well after the game, but that was right on the field. And the other thing is that my hairline will never see that much hair again until I hair for men or whatever it is. Oh my God, that was unbelievable. I had the full flow going there, Lobel.
Yeah, but he was pretty young and handsome. You got to admit, right?
Oh, you mean Belichick? Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh, that was. I mean, that was just. I mean, that was the start of just some unbelievable football. We got so spoiled here in New England. And there's a whole generation of Patriots fans that knew nothing else. And I talked to so many of them, younger people that were just like, well, yeah, isn't that what we do? Why aren't they winning a Super Bowl now?
And one thing Bill mentioned was Vinatieri. He mentioned him a couple times and what a clutch kicker he was and blah, blah, blah. So why then has Vinatieri been Lynch, you can describe the Vinatieri Hall of Fame situation because, I know what the process is of fans voting. It's kind of a sham because whoever Kraft wants in the Hall of Fame, he'll put in the Hall of Fame. But Vinatieri, who to me was as important to that team as almost anybody, with the exception of the kid from Michigan, the 6th-round kid.
You know what it is, Bob? Like in baseball, a lot of voters are reluctant to put a designated hitter into the Hall of Fame in baseball, and that's the same way with kickers in football. They just think, okay, they play usually. The clock doesn't run on an extra point, so there's 0 playing time there, and they probably, if they kick 3 field goals, that would be 3 to 4 seconds each. So they get clocked 12 seconds per game. And a lot of people have a problem with putting someone, even though what they do is very important, a lot of people have a problem putting in a person that only plays 12 seconds per game.
Okay, well, who kicked the most important the most difficult clutch field goal in the history of the New England Patriots or the National Football League?
And not just that one. There was a bunch of others that were huge. I mean, I absolutely believe he's a Hall of Fame guy. But am I right to remember that he actually scored more points with Indianapolis than he did with the
possibly?
Yeah, because he's a long 23 years or something. I mean, just the guy belongs in the NFL Hall of Fame.
I'm talking about the Patriots Hall of Fame.
I would just assume that has to happen.
Well, you know what? If it happened for Parcells, it can happen to Brady. Whoever Kraft wants in. And why do you wait so long for Parcells?
It's not even a question. But is there a guy that you could point to and say that guy won us, got us into a championship? That guy put us in a position to win the game. You can say all you want about Brady, but Brady's numbers the first few years were not off the chart numbers. You had some guys making unbelievable plays, and was anything more unbelievable first off than the snowball kick, which was incredible. And then the kicks in the Super Bowl. I mean, it's just amazing that he's not in already. Both the Patriots and I would say NFL Hall of Fame.
I say, why wouldn't Kraft even put him in that category with Brady and Belichick and talk about statues and blah blah blah?
Well, he's not. I wouldn't put him in with the Brady and Belichick either. I think they were probably.
No, I'm not. I don't mean to suggest that.
But he's certainly worthy of Patriots Hall of Fame. Not even a question. I just assumed he was already. One of those things that.
Well, Lynch is on the committee, so Mike can tell. Go ahead, Mike's on the committee, so tell him how this happens.
He was
because he's in with a group of guys. You have to be retired 4 years to get in the Patriots Hall,
or be liked by Kraft.
Yes, and so he has to go in against Seymour. He has to go against Vrabel. He has to go in against Bruce. He has to go against Troy Brown. He has to go against Julian Edelman, and he's going to always under the Patriots Hall of Fame rules, they are only elect one person each year,
unless you're liked by Kraft.
Right, and then he put Dante Scarnecchia in a couple of years ago. He put Tracy, the cheerleading coach, in, and this year he's putting in Parcells under the title of special contributor. Now that just chafes my ass, because that's an insult to Bill Parcells. He was the head coach. Right. He took them to a Super Bowl.
He changed the culture.
thought Parcells should go in. His title should have been head coach of the New England Patriots, not special contributor.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's a very weird scenario. Maybe because everybody else that's not an actual player. What did Dante Scarnecchia go in as? Coach, assistant coach,
Special contributor.
special contributor. I mean,
It's an insult.
say what it is.
Slap me across the face.
Yeah. Now in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, they do have special contributors, but those are usually owners, general managers. When a coach goes in there, it's for coaching, and they don't try to mix words with it. Bill Parcells is in for coaching, as Bill Belichick will be both in the NFL. I mean, the Pro Football Hall of Fame and the Patriots Hall of Fame he'll be in there for coaching. Special contributor. That just seems weird.
How would you like to go in as driving a camper? What?
Is that an insult, Steve, as a special contributor?
I don't know if it's intentional or if somebody just made a mistake. That's it. I mean, you're not going to – you've got like you say, the head of cheerleaders. You've got probably a number of others.
Gil Santos.
Right.
So Parcells and Dante are in the same category with Tracy, the cheerleading coach, Bill Santos, and they're the best in their field. Tracy was great, Gina was great, but then they weren't on the field as coaches. Dante and Bill Parcells were coaches and should go in as such.
I wonder, that ends up being something that comes up at the time that they're inducted into the thing, and I think people will always think of Dante as one of the great assistant coaches in the history of the NFL, and they'll always think of Parcells and Belichick as two of the greater coaches that played or that coached the NFL. That label of it's just a weird thing that you would have that label. Why would you have that label for a guy who, like you said, he's on the field? He's on the field, and he's in the classroom, and he's at training camp, and he's helping out with the scouting. This is not a special contributor. Special contributor is a focused scenario. Gil in the radio was fantastic. Like you said, Tracy, great job there too. But that was a very hyper-focused scenario. That wasn't just that was when you talk about Belichick or Parcells or Dante. These guys are on the field all the time, and when they're not on the field, they're in the classroom trying to figure out how to make their team better.
Well, can I just interrupt here to put you in the Campers Hall of Fame? I want both of you in the Campers Hall of Fame.
I'm not a camper.
I know, so you're ineligible. Okay, I don't know if Steve's a camper, but if you were a camper, you grew up there with Jack Bicknell up in New Hampshire and be in the Campers Hall of Fame.
I'm more of a glamper than a camper. Of a luxury tent or something. I actually did that last summer up in Maine.
Seriously.
And what's that mountain up there near the water? Anyway, yeah, it was.
Give me a Holiday Inn.
You mean Katahdin?
What?
Mount Katahdin?
Yeah, it might have been. I don't know if it was. It was close.
Just pick a mountain, okay? Mount Uncanootic.
I know.
Okay, campers, are you ready to see what's new for 2026? Okay, Cold Springs RV has next year's models, and they're all arriving daily. And then they have a Hall of Fame section, so go in and check out the latest in pop-ups. Travel trailers, the fifth wheel Hall of Fame is unbelievable, and motorhomes. You get them, you take them home. Tell them Lynchy and Lobel sent you. Cold Springs RV, the doors are always open, and you can browse freely. Anything you want, the latest in camping, get to Cold Springs RV, and you'll be in the Hall of Fame. You'll be in your dream for a camper, your destination for all things, or learn more at coldspringsrv.com. coldspringsrv.com. They're in Ware, New Hampshire. And you say,
where?
Where? Where? West of Goffstown, north of Tingsboro. And that's all you need to know. Okay, Mikey asked Steve the question. We've asked him this question before, so he's got to be prepared.
All right, so you know the deal here, Steve. We should take the Lobel Lynchy cruiser cross country for 7 days. We'll fly you back, but you have to pick somebody to ride shotgun with you. And I've narrowed it down with former teammates in the NFL. So you got to pick one person you play with, either from the Cowboys, the Giants, or the Patriots.
Well, you played with the Jets. Didn't you play for the Jets for a while?
I don't talk about that.
Okay. That's okay. Yes.
About the Jets is
we don't talk about it. All right. So pick one of your teammates from that group right there to ride cross country with you. Who would it be?
Wow, there's so many different angles to look at. You know, am I? Do I want to party? Do I want to have some good conversation? Do I want to pull over late at night and park the RV for the night and have a few drinks? What do I want to do? I mean, there's all sorts of. Do I want to go on a historical sort of stop in, I don't know, Gettysburg and then somewhere else and up, you know, it's just, I think because it's 7 days and I'd have to talk to the guy the whole time, right?
Or
Yep.
guy,
Or listen.
maybe not a guy.
Even more so. Geez, that's tough. It would have to be my old kicker, Matt Barr.
Really?
Matt Barr was interesting, super intelligent, good listener, gave me some great advice any number of times, good man. And he's a guy that he could sit here with the three of us and talk anything from physics to golf to football to whatever. He's a very, very smart guy. So I would think, and he's fun to be around. He's a goofy guy. You would never expect him to be as smart and wonderful as he is. He's just a tremendous guy. I would say Matt Barr, because 7 days is a long time. Even in those beautiful RVs that they have there, it's still, now somebody else is driving. We're not driving, right? So we can sit back and talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back and drunk.
Matt Barr, because he's just a very smart, fun, interesting guy, and I think that's the kind of I like being around.
What did you say about Parcells and Matt Barr? That story.
Which one was that?
Well, he was sick.
Oh, that was actually on NFL Films on the sideline. Matt Barr had been throwing up the whole pregame and in the locker room before the game. Threw up one time on the sidelines and been just and Parcells. Parcells, I guarantee he knows when he's wired for sound because he comes up with some. He always does anyway. And he basically just said, he goes, "What's wrong with your boy?" I'm like, "Coach has got stomach flu, throwing up and shit." Excuse me. And he goes, "Tell him to throw up on his own time. All he got to do is kick the damn ball." And I'm like, why? And I've seen it 100 times on those. And I guarantee you that when he's on, not that he isn't glib and quick-witted anyway, but I just wonder if he turns it on a little bit when he knows he's being recorded and video.
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah, he's one of the all-time classics. Now, did you snap from Matt in New York and here as well?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, and he was the easiest kicker you could ever want to be around. He would never blame a holder, would never blame the snapper, would never blame the wind or whatever. Never. He took it on himself, and he hit that last second field goal against San Francisco when we were with the Giants to get us into the to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was like 15-14. You kicked 5 field goals that day, right? Yeah,
15-13, something like that or something. Yeah, 5 field goals. And that was, I mean, he was just a I don't know if he was there was nothing that rattled him. It didn't rattle, I remember I in that San Francisco game, because he's just a guy that can't rattle whatever he was, never rattle him. So San Francisco calls a timeout, whatever, and so I'm standing out in the field and I go over to him and I say, "Hey, Matt, what's wrong with these guys calling timeout? You're the coolest kicker in the league. They can't ice you." And he doesn't even blink. He looks, "They're not trying to ice me. They're trying to ice you. You got to snap." This is an NFC Championship game. How can you do that? I was like, "What the hell are you doing? What possesses you in that moment to actually say something like that to the guy that's got to deliver the ball to the holder?" It was great. Yep.
When Parcells signed him here, he asked him, "Can you kick in cold weather, in windy weather?" And he said, "Yes, I can." And I said, "Okay, come on down. You're going to be on this team.
Yep. Yeah.
Let me ask this, Steve, too. These days, the holders are all punters. So while practice is going on, the holder and the kicker, they can spend 2 hours just doing whatever they want to do. You were a linebacker, so you had to go out with the special teams early, and then the horn would blow, and then you'd be with linebackers, and the kicker would be with somebody else holding for him.
Right.
Did that change? What did that change for you?
It never changed because it was they didn't have not a lot of teams had the dedicated long snappers in the league now, and so when I was playing full time, starting the years that I did with the Giants, it was always something that they had to think about because now if I get injured, which I did my first year there. I was out for 6 weeks with a broken bone in my foot. Now, all of a sudden, you're replacing 2 spots, your long snapper and your starting inside backer. So that I think that happened any number of times where the snapper gets hurt or whatever sometimes, and you don't. Now they've every team in the league has a dedicated long snapper, and that's when they also up the roster to 47, I think, in the time, because it just makes sense, and the coaching staff, they all understand, long snappers. I mean, if you're in the league long enough, you get paid well, but it's not as easy a science as people think. It's just it takes, even to my last day in the NFL, I was taking anywhere from 40 to 50 short snaps, 30 to 40 long snaps every single day. Every single day I was on the field in equipment, I would take anywhere from a total of about 100 snaps with either the holder or whoever would hold for me, or the punter, whoever, or if the punter was done, so whatever ball boy would come out and catch the ball for me. And it was just, it wasn't. I didn't do that. I did it because that was the routine that I developed, and I didn't want to change the routine. It's like I've done with my golf swing 18 times. I don't want to. I got to find the one that works. But the.
Now, would Parcells give you the time to snap 100 times when you should be, when he probably wanted you? Oh, after practice?
Always after practice.
Okay.
Because after practice, we were free to go after. So I would say I would do a bunch before. I'd probably do probably about 30 before, and then 60 or 70 after, just to stay in the rhythm and whatever. So,
and people should know too, Lobel, I think I told you this last time. His son Zach, who was a great snapper for the Giants, I first saw Zach when he was playing at Phillips Academy in Andover.
Yep.
And he was the quarterback. All right. So middle linebacker and the long snapper.
Yeah.
Now, I was the quarterback, but I never tackled anybody below the eyebrows.
Right.
I mean, he's a guy when he plays on offense, he's the quarterback, and now he's the middle linebacker on defense. And then when it's fourth down, he's bending over. And this is before they changed the rules. You could smash the snapper as soon as he hit his head down. It was pretty much defenseless. And there was Zach right there.
I didn't know. I went to the first game his senior year, and he was all conference. For the, what do they call that league, the prep school league, whatever it was. He was an all conference quarterback to kill that.
We called it pre-NFL.
Yeah. He was supposed to be punting his senior year. And I remember going to the first game, and they go out to punt, and he's not punting. I'm like, what? I look on the sidelines, I don't see him. He snapped because nobody else could snap. And I never. Well, that's you guys know. You saw it in what they would do in a lot of high schools. Who's the snapper? The quarterback, because if you're just throwing the ball. So that's what happened there. And I never taught him anything. If he asked me some advice, I'd let him know. But he had his own style. Everybody just assumes that I showed him how to long snap from the time he could walk, which wasn't the case. He didn't snap until.
Yeah, that was my question. That would have been my question.
Yeah, he got very, very good at it.
Obviously
made a career out of it.
Some people say he's the second best long snapper in the history of the league. I'm not sure. Just
who could be first, right? Who's possibly first? Who could possibly be first?
I don't know. Those guys with those big fluffy balls back in the 30s.
They call them beach balls. Okay, I have to ask you a question about your alma mater, Boston College.
Yep.
I have to talk a little bit about that because it looks to me like Bill O'Brien is moving this program back to where it was and maybe even higher on a national level. I mean, you look at their schedule, they got Notre Dame, they've got Clemson, they've got, you go right down there. They're getting back into big time football. They beat Florida State, they lose to Michigan State in double overtime. A painful loss, right?
Yep. Well,
Lynchy, did you not take care of the leaf blower?
They're out front now.
So what do you think?
Well, that schedule was made well before maybe year before Billy O got there.
Of course,
I think you're right about Billy O. I think he's brought an attitude to the team, and talking to Billy himself, he's excited about what he's doing, and what's not to be excited about? You got a team that had not your Notre Dame or Ohio State or Georgia, Alabama kind of heights, but it reached some good heights, and then under us with Jack McNell and Doug Flutie and a bunch of other guys, and then again with Tom Coughlin, and he could easily get back to that. It's going to be harder now with the NIL scenario, but he could get back to the level that BC was playing, where they could crack the top 10 or easily be in the top 15. And then I don't think any alumni of BC, especially football alumni, are thinking Billy O is going to bring this team to a national championship. It's just not going to happen. But you get a team that goes to a decent bowl every game. You get a team that competes to maybe sneak into the college playoffs now that they're expanding them a little bit. That's for Boston College, that would be outstanding. And I think coaching wise, Billy O's got he's got the ability. I think that there's no doubt about it. I know, having talked to him any number of times, that he's got the desire, and now it's just a matter of recruiting and execution. And I think they're in good hands with him. I think they're going to be fine, and they're going to find a way into maybe a bowl game this year, and then get better as his time with BC goes along.
No, I agree. He's the perfect fit for them. Local guy, Andover, St. John's Prep, Brown, like your son, and the big difference is that for all these previous coaches, like Hafley went to it was a jumping off point. Yes. And I don't have to piss you guys, all you BC guys off. My 3 daughters went to BC, so it pissed me off too. But this is a guy that's not looking to jump off to the NFL. He's been there. He's not going to look to, he's been at Alabama. He was temporarily at Ohio State before he took the BC job. This looks like Bill, his wife went to BC. He's from here. He wants to stay here for his entire career. And I think that's something you guys haven't had in a long time.
I agree. And his family is comfortable here in England too. And he's got some skin in the game here. He's very proud of where he comes from. He's very proud of what he accomplished as a young person, and he's what he did here with the Patriots and everything. And he looks at, I am sure that he looks at this as an opportunity to do something that could be a peak for Boston College football. And I don't doubt that he has that coaching ability. Tom Coughlin certainly, but we knew Tom wasn't going to stay for long. But we knew Tom Coughlin was certainly that type of coach, and Billy O'Brien's got plenty of that in him too. So you're talking about an opportunity for a guy to cement himself in a local scenario. What's better than that? You accomplish unbelievable things in your in basically your hometown. That makes great.
Okay, let me ask you this: you've played for a lot of great coaches. I'm going to Bicknell, Coughlin. I'd put Belichick, Parcells, and I'm not talking about necessarily head coaches. I'm talking about especially defensive, whatever.
Tom Landry.
That's a Hall of Fame name. What I say, Parcells, Belichick, Bicknell, Coughlin.
Tom Landry.
Who'd you Landry? Thank you very
Not
much.
bad, huh?
Not bad. I mean, that's five. That's Hall of Fame. 5 Hall of Fame coaches you played for. In our, who could honorably say the best of all time? Who, among all 5, was your best coach?
I would say I had more contact with Belichick in the day-to-day learning of football and executing of football, the meetings. I had more contact with him than any of those other coaches. Plenty of contact with Bill Parcells, but I can tell you this: I knew in college when Tom Coughlin was before he became the head coach, well before he became the head coach of BC, he was the offensive coordinator, and he was the first coach I can actually look at and say he's different. There's something about him that's special. And this was as a young man. This was when I was probably 17, about probably 18. I was a sophomore and a junior. And yeah, so 18, 19 years old, watching Tom Coughlin coach, seeing the results of his coaching. I knew that he was different from all the other coaches that I'd been around up to then. And then I get to the Giants, and Bill Parcells was different and better than most, better for me personally. I'm not going to say he was statistically or whatever better than Tom Landry, but for the type of person I was and the type of player I was, Bill Parcells was fantastic for me and different from anyone I'd been around. And then from the sheer learning of football, it was Bill Belichick that taught me more about football. And by the time I got to him, I was in my 6th year in the league, and I learned more in one training camp or one off season about playing the inside linebacker position that I learned my entire life of playing that position. So certain guys jumped out as being better than, and I'm still talking about a lot of very good coaches, but those 3 guys jumped out and stood out more than any coaches I'd ever been around, and I could see why all of them are going to eventually be Hall of Fame.
Let me ask you this, Steve. I've heard LT talk about when he first met Belichick, and I wonder if the rest of the guys on the team shared the same opinion. He's a guy that played at Wesleyan, 8 games, Division III, never played in the NFL, and kind of wondering what does this guy what does this guy know that I don't know? So what was it about Belichick that did he have to earn the respect of the Lawrence Taylors of the world and the Steve DeOssies of the world, or had his results as an assistant coach impressed you guys?
Well, but by the time I met up and started playing for Bill Belichick, they'd already won a championship and they'd already had one of the best linebacking crews in the NFL. So I knew that he was already a good coach without having ever met him. But when you talk about the guys that he coached over the years, one thing that I saw that was very, very different from anything I ever experienced in football, NFL, college, high school, whatever. Bill Belichick would actively pursue the opinions of his players or the thoughts of his players. He would come to guys and he'd see LT do something, and he'd say, "Hey, Lawrence, what made you do this? How'd you do that? Or what's your thought process in this?" And or Pepper, or maybe a D lineman, or maybe a defensive back. He would actively pursue, and then he asked me one time when I got the starting job. We're watching film, and he goes, "Steve, what do you think of such and such?" I'm like, "Yeah, coach, whatever you need." Shuts the film off. That was the old reel to reel, I think it was. I don't even know. It's probably video by then, but turns the lights on. Whatever I need. What the hell are you talking about? Whatever I need, coach. You asked me to do something, and I'll do it. He goes, "I didn't ask you to do something. I asked you what you think about doing something." And then he goes, "And don't try." And of course, all my linebacker buddies are like, So, and he goes, and don't try to tell me what you think I want to hear. You're not smart enough to do that yet. I don't disagree. And he goes, look, be honest with me. Tell me if you're comfortable in a situation. I'm not going to design this defense for you to be comfortable, but if I can find a way to that you feel good about what you're doing, that's fine by me. So, and if I ask you what you're seeing that made you do something, just tell me what you thought. Tell me what I want to know. Bill Belichick was collecting information at a rapid pace from some very, very good defensive players. And I asked Belichick about it one time too, and I said, well, you know, I never seen a coach that was actively seeking his players' opinions. And he told me very simply, he goes, I can watch 1 million hours of film. I'm still not going to see the field the way you guys do. I'd like to know what you guys are seeing. Never be able to see it myself. I'm relying on you guys to tell me what I think I might be missing here and there, which for a Hall of Fame coach is, you know, a lot of coaches don't want to admit they don't know something, you know, especially in the NFL. There's a lot of coaches that would never want to admit that there's something that they don't know about football. Bill Belichick didn't care. Bill Belichick wanted to learn. And when he was constantly talking to guys, any position, linebackers, D-line, defensive end, didn't matter. He was constantly talking to guys about what they saw, what they thought, or whatever. And when I asked, he was gathering information, which sounds so simple, but it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Steve, I have one final question for you before Lynchy does the final spot. Okay, my final question. One word answer. And this, you know, just does not have to be.
I don't do one word well. Obviously.
Good. That's why you're so good on TV. Okay. One game you have to win. Okay, you have to win this game. Is your quarterback Drake May or J.J. McCarthy? Come on, Lo, Lynchy, this is not your question.
We're circling back to your original premise.
I'm just saying one game you have to win.
I've seen more.
No, wait a minute. This is simple. One game you have to win. Is it J.J. McCarthy or is it Drake May, your quarterback?
It's McCarthy right now.
Okay, that's all. Well, that was 3 words. That was 3 words.
I got more too. I got some very special words for you that I'll share after this call.
Okay.
Fine. And my final question, Steve. Well, Belichick shut the lights, put the lights back on, stopped the film, and was asking those questions. Didn't he know that he was supposed to be keeping Lawrence Taylor awake during the meeting? That was your number one job, right?
That was part of the job. Hey, listen, that's the old. Hey, what they always say: the more you can do, the more you can do. Listen, that's for the first 2 weeks that I knew him, that was Mr. Taylor. All right. He goes, what the hell you call me Mr. Taylor for? I'm like, I don't know. You're older than me and you're Mr. Taylor. He goes, I know what you're doing. I let you do it for an extra. He said, I'm T or Lawrence or whatever. I'm not Mr. Taylor. Like, well, then why did you let me do it for 2 weeks? He goes, because it's funny. a grown ass man saying, yes, sir, Mr. Taylor.
Don't they realize you had multiple jobs? You had to be an inside linebacker, you had to be a long snapper, and they had to keep Lawrence Taylor awake whenever the lights went on. The coaches
and you have to be a leaf blower.
No respect. No respect. Yeah. And there were times to be told that Lawrence kept me awake too. So I'm not gonna deny that.
Hey, here's a last spot. I left my script upstairs. I'm gonna do the best I can right here.
Oh God! I hope my calls can cross my fingers.
If you're looking for a new car, go where Lobel and Lynchy go. We go to George Grace, Lexington Toyota, 409 Mass Ave in Lexington. They're a family-owned dealership that Lobel and Lynchy trust, and you can trust as well. They have great service there. My daughter's going tomorrow with her car. My wife's car's there. My mother's car is there. My sister's car is there. My brother.
Well, they all have a special parking lot.
Yeah, they do. It's a special parking lot for the Lynches, and then at the end of the parking lot. But if you want a vehicle that you know is going to run forever and that you can trust the service, you go where we go. It's George Gray's Lexington Toyota, 409 Mass Ave in Lexington. We call George the Big Wheel. Just tell him there he is right there with some other guy, played hockey, number 4. I'm not really sure, but the guy with the mustache is the Big Wheel, George Gray. You can see George and you tell him the Lobel and Lynch sent you, and they'll take good care of you. All right? How's that without a script, Lobel? All right?
No, it's pretty good reading the teleprompter. I didn't realize you had a teleprompter in your kitchen.
I'm ready to go find the leaf blower because all of a sudden, like the show's over and they shut the leaf blower off.
Yeah, well, nice job. Steve, you did a great job. It was really fun.
I love you guys. I appreciate it. I love watching your show too. You guys do a great job.
It's really fun. You really a lot of good, not only fun, but a lot of good information today.
You guys got the perfect mix of fun and information.
Humility is the word, Steve. You're looking for one word. Humility. That's all. One word.
That's one word that you've never learned the meaning of.
Never learned it. Ever. In Channel 4 and on this show.
That's
never,
right.
Shut up, Lynchy. All right, shut up. Just shut up where you're at.
On the golf course too. All right.
Yes, right.
All right. Good job, Stevie.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah,
and thanks everybody
nice
for
job,
watching
Mike.
us.
Yeah, nice job.
Time on unanchored.com, and make sure you follow us on YouTube as well. You were there. See you next week, everybody.
Nice.